All right, guys, let's do one more. Then I'll leave you alone. Um, as you know, The Hate You Give is coming to an end, so it's time to think of another final project option for you. And I know as we're home in our quarantine and trying to stay connected with people, one of the things you might be doing is playing a game. So this task gives you the option to design your own board game, as you can see. Um, We've got a couple little graphics for you, all fun and games. You're a board game manufacturer. You've been assigned the task of creating a board game that will help students review everything they read in a fun and interesting way. You can make a game board if you would like. If you would like, you can also do this digitally. I'm okay with whatever you'd like. If you want to grab a piece of cardboard, start making out a game board, drawing on it, that's great. If you want to find in Keynote, you want to create a game board, maybe you want to do a Jeopardy review. There'll actually be an opportunity for us all to come together with something like that. But you can decide if it's a game board or what kind. But make a game board neat, colorful, interesting, creative. The key here is we need at least 20 questions and answers for your game. So the questions must somehow be incorporated into playing the game. It could be that they need to answer a question in order to move forward. It could be that each roll of the dice determines how many questions they have to answer. You are fully in charge of deciding. And when we get into our steps here, it'll break it down even further for you. Relate the format and purpose of your game to the novel in some way. Example, maybe you want the game board in the shape of a castle, or the purpose is to escape the evil grandmother if we're thinking to a fairy tale. In this case, maybe you want it to look like Garden Heights, or maybe there's a rose. We've talked about the rose between the concrete a number of times. Maybe you'd like to have the game board in the shape of a hairbrush, a unique symbol from the book. Entirely up to you. Write directions for your game that would make it perfectly clear how to play the game, and make sure the content and difficulty of your game are appropriate for your novel and your classmates' abilities. Believe it or not, some studies have found that people learn best by playing, that having fun can be educational. Who knew? So, let's test the idea by creating a board game for The Hate You Give. It's up to you what kind of board game you'd like to create. There are many styles. You might think Monopoly, The Game of Life, Sorry, Clue. The point of this final product is to get people to understand the characters, settings, and conflicts found in The Hate You Give. And again, characters are the who, setting is when and where things take place, and conflict means the struggles that they face, the challenges that they have to overcome. The first step, you're going to determine the basics. What kind of game will you create? Moving spaces based on rolling dice, or is it a question scenario card? Would you rather type of thing? Is there a point system? You get to decide. What kind of game or board pieces will players need? How do you play? What are the rules? How do you win? So those are the basics. Review one of these resources to help you with your game. Again, there's video links for rules that there's a template for game designers. There's a game rulebook template, how to write a standard rulebook. You can fill it all in right there. Want to see some examples of real games and how to play them? If you don't have any board games at home, here's a link to how to play those board games. You have a little bit of more background research to do, but you can do this. Build your game. Use physical materials from home, or if you did bring home any materials from the lab, design a game on the computer, whatever it takes. But don't forget about the extras you might need. You might need little game pieces as pawns, little pieces to represent players. Maybe you need a scorecard, some kind of coin or chip to mark your spot, whatever works. So I'm getting uncomfortable. Write the rule book. Every game needs rules. If there are no rules, there can't be a fair winner or even a point to the game. So your rule book should be written at the age level that your game's designed for. We know the content of The Hate You Give is for high school level, but maybe you want to make this into a sort of children's game to try and prevent the hate at a young age. If you're creating a children's board game, your rule book should be basic enough that a child that age can understand the rules. If you're making a complex computer game, your rule book will probably be more detailed and include a higher level of language use, the more academic terms, as we know. Your brainstorming from step one will help with this. Step 4, this one's going to take a challenge because it will have to be done online, but get some friends together to play your game. Show me on a Zoom meeting or a chat how you guys were able to get through. You can even get extra strands by taking a video recording the group playing the game. Have fun with it and submit that final product. As we know, upload any typed information like your rule book, planning documents, question and answer cards, game board, whatever it is. Make sure we have proof of those artifacts in Hero. Take pictures of the board, the cards, the important pieces, close-ups if the experts need to read things carefully. Always make sure it's clear that we can read. And then upload any videos you took while playing the game or explaining how to play the game. Again, you'll see that in the Trivial Pursuit example from above. Don't get lost in these strands. Remember, I always try and choose strands to entice kids, but I can make it work for you. If this is an assignment you like, but you're in ninth grade, I can certainly make sure that you get credit for ninth grade. For those of you that may want to do, instead of a game, maybe you want to do a game show, as I suggested, like the Jeopardy board, or maybe you want to lead your own Kahoot. I know Miss Susan's done a lot of great Kahoots with classes. I tried to do one for our deer, but it didn't go so well. But whatever works, guys, just have fun with it. This is another chance to show what you took away as the most important parts of the Hate U Give. Have fun with it. Reach out with any questions. Thanks again. Now I'll try and figure out how to stop this properly.